the mic.
Get on the mic.
Just get on the mic. Get on the mic, Mike.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Get on the Mic. That's where you get me sitting in front of a microphone with a few notes, and I talk about some of the things in the entertainment world or other things that I want to talk about that happened during the week. Today on the show, we got some fun stuff to talk about. First, we're going to talk about, and I didn't think I'd be talking about this again, we're going to be talking about the Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie. I know last week I said I'd lost interest. Well, some of my interest has come back because a former Star Trek actor is interested in being in that movie. Also, we're going to talk about Netflix's exclusive movie Bright, starring Will Smith. We're going to talk about an actor being interested in playing an iconic character again for Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. Also, this would not be Get on the Mic if we weren't going to talk about AMC theaters. They're possibly going to be charging more for quote-unquote more desirable seats. And lastly, we're going to be talking about something that is near and true to my heart, near and dear. The Is Die Hard a Christmas movie debate is officially over. Merry Christmas. First thing we're going to talk about is Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie. I said last week that I lost some interest because I didn't want to see another Quentin Tarantino Presents. Well, then this news came out. Patrick Stewart has said he might be interested in returning as Captain Picard so he can work with Tarantino. I like this. We'll talk about something else about Tarantino and Stewart here in a second, but he talked to the Hollywood Reporter and he had this to say about it. He said, "People are always saying to me, will you be Jean-Luc Picard again? And I cannot think that would be possible, but there are ways in which something like that might come about. But one of my dreams is to work with Tarantino. I admire his work so much, and to be in a Tarantino film would give me so much satisfaction. So if he is going to direct something to do with Star Trek, and there was a possibility of dear old Jean-Luc showing up again and doing that for Mr. Tarantino, I would embrace it. The one thing that characterizes all of his movies is that frame by frame, it always challenges, always demands your attention, always demands a very kind of open and generous response to what he does. I also love his sense of humor as a filmmaker, so yes, he would be my first choice." You know, that piques my interest. Not fully. It doesn't get me totally back invested in it because, again, we don't know if Tarantino's even directing this thing. We know he's producing with J.J. Abrams, and we know the writer of The Revenant is writing the movie, which that kind of disappoints me that Tarantino's not writing it. I wanted to see him do full sci-fi, but this is a step in the right direction. As I've stated before on my channel, Captain Picard is my favorite captain because I always like to say I've met Kirk and I've met Picard, and you know, Picard was cool and Kirk was a jerk, you know. And I'll tell those stories if I haven't told them. I'll tell them someday on this program. Look, if I'm interested in this, really like fully invested in it if Tarantino is directing, because like I said, I'm not interested in that Tarantino presents a Star Trek movie thing. Granted, I would still be okay with seeing Picard back if it were just a produced by Quentin Tarantino thing, but I don't want to see Quentin Tarantino presents Star Trek. We don't know if this is going to be the same characters that are in the new continuity or whatever you want to call it. We don't know if this is a completely original story. We don't know. There's no real detail, so it's hard to really comment on it. But the fact that Patrick Stewart's interested in doing it and would, just to work with Tarantino, come back, that's kind of cool. That being said, if I had a choice to have Patrick Stewart work with Tarantino, I would want Tarantino to write an original character for him. Though I didn't love the movie Green Room, I liked seeing Patrick Stewart doing something different other than Professor Xavier or Jean-Luc Picard, because I mean he was known for those two roles mostly his whole career, even though he's had a huge stage career and he's done tons of other things, and he works on stuff for Seth MacFarlane and just all sorts of stuff. And he's so much more talented than just those two roles, even though those are his two most well-known roles in movies and in TV. I would love to see Tarantino create a strange character for him in a Tarantino-esque type film, like a Tarantino-verse type film, like a Pulp Fiction character for him, something like that. But if, you know, seeing Picard again is what we get, that's cool with me. But like I said, until I know Tarantino is directing this movie, my interest is piqued a little, but it's not back to the excitement that I felt the first time I heard this. The next story we're going to talk about is Netflix's Bright series, or Bright movie, starring Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. If you have seen the movie or haven't, if you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. I have a review for it on the channel, and I talk about how it's not as bad as a lot of critics are making it out to be. It's not a great movie, but it's got some good ideas, and there's some fun to be had. Check out my review and let me know what you think of it. And if you've seen the movie, definitely let me know what you think of it. It turns out that I wasn't the only one who watched it, other than critics. I was one of over 11 million Netflix subscribers to check out the movie. That's a lot of people. Now, what's fun to figure out is what that would be at the box office. And what you would do is you take the average ticket price, which is around $9 a ticket right now. It's $8 and some high change. And that adds up to a little over $98 million against a $100 million budget. That's if they sold tickets. Now, granted, this movie probably wouldn't have done that well in the theaters. I think it would have done okay. But this is the type of movie, they wouldn't have released it in December in the theaters. It probably would have been a January movie. And I don't think it would have made that much money. I think the concept might have thrown some people off, but think about it. If you're a Netflix subscriber, you've already paid $10 for that month or $11, whatever it is now. And you've paid that money. It isn't going to hurt you very much to hit the play button. So you hit the play button and you start to watch it. Whether or not you give it a chance or not, you can turn it off and watch something else. And you've still only been charged that $11 a month. I think that's why Netflix, I like this idea of Netflix doing movies and TV shows, because, you know, they're giving you so much for so little. You know, $11 a month ain't too bad. It's so nice. You know, Netflix is cool because, I know I'm off on a tangent here, but Netflix is cool because, and even other streaming services like this, like Amazon, stuff like that, are cool because they give you so much for so little a month. And, you know, how much money do you save on like buying your kids DVDs and movies and stuff when, like, say, the newest DreamWorks stuff pops up on Netflix pretty soon, you know? I mean, granted, the Disney stuff's going to be going away, and I'll probably be getting that Disney subscription service, but that's another story for another day. It's cool that Netflix is trying this stuff to keep people watching and get more subscribers and stuff like that. Who knows, you know, how they're going to sustain that, but they must be doing okay because they, you know, they barely raised prices over the last, you know, however many years I've had it. I think I got it in 2011, 2012, something like that. And it started off like $8 a month, or I think, and then it went up to 10, and now it's 11. Not too bad for everything I've gotten from it. But that's just it. It's a click of a button. So, of course, people are going to check it out. On Rotten Tomatoes, Bright has a score of 26% with critics, and Netflix don't care because they're you know, fans are stepping up to defend it. I defended the movie. Like I said, it's not a great movie. It's not like the most amazing sci-fi movie I've ever seen. I compared it to Alien Nation, which Alien Nation, though I can't remember, I don't know if that movie's held up. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember really liking it. And I made reference that, you know, I think this Bright series would be better as shows than like a TV show than as a movie, because the world is just so expansive. I mean, there's so much going on that, you know, a 2-hour movie isn't going to be able to contain it. But Netflix don't care that there's a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. They've already signed Will Smith for the sequel. So they are definitely making another one, which, you know, I got some enjoyment out of it. I like Joel Edgerton in it. He was my favorite part. He wasn't given the meaty role I would have liked him to have had. They gave him some stuff, but I mean, there's a whole lot there. There's a whole lot of complexity that character could have had, and he didn't get a lot of it because there's just so much going on. Excuse me. And, but for what it was just kind of a fun action movie. It was directed by David Ayer. It reminds you of partially of End of Watch, which, no surprise, David Ayer directed this and that. So there's no surprise there. And I like End of Watch a lot, so I had no problem with it. So if you haven't checked out Bright, give it check it out. It's not great. I'm not going to say it's the greatest sci-fi movie ever, but it's not the worst either. People are saying that it's worse than like the worst sci-fi movie ever. Slow down. That'd probably be Battlefield Earth, and people are saying it's the worst Will Smith movie. No. I mean, Collateral Beauty was way worse, and he's had some stinkers, You ever heard of Wild Wild West? And then if you want a sci-fi and Will Smith movie that's worse, well, yeah, After Earth was way worse than Bright, because you not only get a horrible acting Will Smith with no emotion, but you also get his son. Yay. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's worth taking a look at. I mean, like I said, if you don't like it, you hit the back button and you pick something else, and you still only paid $11 a month, so you don't have much to lose. Next thing I want to talk about is Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series. I didn't know if I'd be covering this for a while, but some pretty neat news came out about it. On BBC Radio 2, Graham Norton brought up the Amazon show to none other than Sir Ian McKellen. He asked if it would be annoying to see another actor play the role of Gandalf, and McKellen had this to say, and I love this. This is great. What do you mean another Gandalf? I haven't said yes because I haven't been asked. But are you suggesting that someone else is going to play it? Gandalf is over 7,000 years old, so I'm not too old. This show has garnered a lot of controversy amongst Lord of the Rings fans, be it movie fans, book fans, whatever. Not just from fans, but from like actors of the movies too. There's just been a lot of heat over this project. I'm all for it. I'm not sure what story they're going to tell, but I mean, I've had no problem for the most part with like video games that, there's like Shadow over Mordor, and there was some role-playing game where you were fighting battles during the events of the Lord of the Rings movies, and you would occasionally run across like Aragorn or something. There's stories to be told. Granted, I would be okay with them trying to, retell the whole thing of Lord of the Rings. Heck, start with The Hobbit, maybe some flashbacks of The Hobbit or something. I don't know. But there's been a lot of heat over this, and I've mentioned this before. Well, I think a fresh start is the best idea. I'm not against Ian McKellen playing Gandalf again. And I'll use an example for a movie that's coming out. There's a little movie coming out called the quote-unquote, because it's going to be mocap CG, the quote-unquote live-action Lion King movie. Oh my God, sacrilege, right? Okay, let's put it this way. The Lion King is my favorite Disney animated movie, and I love other animated movies, and there's arguments to be had, but don't get me wrong. I love stuff like Aladdin, and there's others that I really like a lot. Wreck-It Ralph I love. But Lion King's my jam, as they say. I mean, I love the character. Like, Scar is one of my favorite villains ever. I love the hyenas. I love the story. I love Rafiki. I love the music. It's my favorite. Like I said, there's debates to be had, and I'm cool if other people like other Disney movies. I'm never going to say, no, you're wrong. I mean, there's a lot of good Disney movies out there. But they're doing this quote-unquote live-action Lion King movie. And, of course, people were very upset. Don't touch the original, they say. The original is my favorite. And I have to say this. The only reason I was against it is because I think that I thought that, well, they wouldn't be able to do it. Everything would look fake, right? It just wouldn't look right. It would look still cartoony because it would all be CG animals and stuff like that. Then I saw the Jungle Book, and I know some people don't like the live action Jungle Book. I liked it. And I like the movie. I love the effects. Because the effects in that movie, the first thing I thought when I started seeing a lot of those animals and stuff on the big screen was, my God, they could do Lion King. Now, granted, though I know you can't do it for everybody because I don't think everyone's still alive. And the name of the actor that played Rafiki escapes me at the moment. It's late and I'm tired and I've had a long day. But he passed away, what was it, late last year, early this year, if I'm not mistaken. So you couldn't get everybody, but I would have liked to have seen all the original cast do a different version of Lion King, this so-called live action version. But they have gone with a new cast. It's a pretty good cast. I'm excited for it. But, a lot of people are like, still like, how dare you? How dare you do this? And, so what they've done was they held on to, even though it's a new take on the tale, I don't know if it's going to be the same type of musical thing or if there's only going to be a couple songs like the Jungle Book did. And plus, same director as Jungle Book 2. It's Jon Favreau. It's like, well, you did it here. You could probably do it here, right? And so they decided that if they're going to keep anybody from the original cast, they're going to take, well, I'm going to say arguably the most iconic voice actor / character from the original Lion King. I love Jeremy Irons as Scar. I mean, he's, like I said, Scar is one of my favorite villains, period. Not just Disney villains. He's one of my favorite villains, period. But I am not against them picking James Earl Jones to voice Mufasa. Because arguably he is, and I would even make that argument, putting all fandom aside, that he is the most iconic voice from that movie. And there's so many good ones. Granted, like I said, the new cast is great. So they're bringing him in to kind of bridge the gap for those that are saying, how dare you do this? How dare you replace the originals? When you hear that voice, Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me. When you hear that, we're having a pouncing lesson. I hope they do a pouncing lesson because that's one of my favorite scenes in The Lion King. I'm teaching them to pounce. Oh, very good. Oh, no. I can't wait for John Oliver as Zazu. If I'm excited about any of the new ones, I think it's John Oliver as Zazu. But the point I'm trying to make is they bridge the gap by doing that. And I think a lot of people are like, well, at least they got James Earl Jones. That's a step in the right direction. Maybe we'll give it a try. Granted, there's still some people that are just haters out there that are hating on it. And that's fine too. I really hope they prove the haters wrong. Who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So, for this Lord of the Rings series, while a fresh start is the best idea, having McKellen play Gandalf, if Gandalf is even in this series, which even if it's stuff that's taking place in distant lands and things like that, Gandalf ran away a lot, in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff. So, I mean, he could be going to other lands and show up every now and then. I'd be fine with that. This might be a way, just like The Lion King's doing, might be a way to extend an olive branch to those fans and some actors of the movies that seem to be offended that the show is even a reality. I mean, John Rhys Davies said, basically like, how dare they? That would be Gimli for those that don't know in the Lord of the Rings movies. Andy Serkis was a little more cool about it. And he was just like, well, that was a big part of my life and that's fine, but I'm not coming back to be Gollum. Good luck to them. And he even said a fresh start would be the best way to go to. But the fact that McKellen is willing to play it again, which from what I remember, and I couldn't find an article on it, but I swore I read that he said, well, I'm done after The Hobbit. I got a feeling it's because The Hobbit wasn't that good. I mean, the first movie was okay. The second movie was a little painful. The dragon was cool. And then the third movie, you get 2 minutes of a dragon, it's done, and excuse me, and then that's it. And then we get weird CG dwarves and just a mess of a movie for Battle of the Five Armies. I think he was just kind of sick of the franchise by then, but I bet if he does smaller parts in this Amazon series, if he's in it, if Gandalf is even in it, I think it'd be a good addition. It'd be a way to say, look, even though this doesn't take place in that world, it'd be a little trickier if they were redoing the Frodo story and everything, because it'd be like, well, and it's kind of what Lion King's doing. They are redoing it, and they're bringing in Mufasa, but granted, Mufasa's not in the Lion King a ton. Gandalf is in the Lord of the Rings a lot. But I don't think they're redoing those stories. But yeah, it'd be a way for them to kind of just like, look, even though this isn't the same, it shows that we pick someone that you love as that character. I mean, think about it. And I'll bring back Mufasa for an example. I'll bring the example of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. There's just so many. There's so many actors that just play roles. But then there's those actors, like I said, like James Earl Jones, Mufasa. My feelings right now, John Bernthal as the Punisher. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. You could fit Ian McKellen as Gandalf in that group where you say that's the actor. This is the definitive version of that character. Granted, there hasn't been a ton of Gandalf, other than, some cartoons, really. But, I mean, when you knock it out of the park the first time, and like I said, they did that with Tony Stark, and, I mean, they tried. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed a little bit of just about everyone that's played the Punisher. They all had their positives, they all had their negatives. I think Bernthal is finally the right pick for that part. But anyway, Gandalf, Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen has had so many great roles. I love him in Apt Pupil. I liked him as Magneto a lot. He's just been so good in so many movies. I love seeing him as Sherlock Holmes. But Gandalf is Ian McKellen, and Ian McKellen is Gandalf. So I, for one, would be okay with him playing that role. All right, like I said, this would not be Get on the Mic if we didn't talk about AMC Theaters. And, of course, I'll tease it. It might go into Movie Pass territory, but we'll get there. AMC might possibly be charging for more quote-unquote premium seats. Okay, I have a disclaimer here. I haven't seen this survey. I didn't get one of these surveys, but it doesn't mean they're not out there. The articles I'm reading are pretty well confirming that some people got these. And it says, apparently they sent out a survey to Stubs members that asked if they'd be willing to pay more or less money for more or less desirable seats. Question's pretty vague if you think about it. Now, you could hope that, they're trying, you would like to give them the benefit of the doubt. You would like to. You can't. It's AMC, and they suck. But, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the employees. Most of the employees I've dealt with at AMC Theaters are cool. I'm talking about the corporate side here, so just keep that in mind. It's the corporate D-bags that, whine and cry when they don't get their way. So, AMC Theaters, you'd like to think that, maybe for the quote-unquote less desirable seats, they would charge less. And then for these quote-unquote premium seats, they charge more. Okay, say average ticket price is $10, or really it's $9. But no, I got this feeling that it's going to go like this. It's going to be, they keep the non-desirable seats at the same price or knock them up $1 or $2. and then make the premium seats, like, say, if average is 10, they make them $15, $16. Here's the thing, though. What constitutes a premium seat? Look, everyone likes to sit in a different spot in different theaters. I mean, there's theaters I like to sit in one place and theaters I like to sit in another. But in most theaters, I like to sit near the back and to the right. I'm weird, I know. But I'm 6'3", and I got to be able to stretch out my legs. So if I'm near one of the sides, if there's not a lot of leg room in the theater, I can still stick out at least one of my legs. I'm just weird like that. I have a weird angle thing where I like to look at things at an angle. But then again, some theaters I like to sit dead center, but most theaters I like to sit near the back on the right side. Some people like to sit smack dab in the middle. You know, they go down the row and they count the seats. You've seen it. I'm okay with that. I've done it, for certain theaters. It's like I want the perfect look here. You see where the speakers are and stuff like that. And like an IMAX movie, I like doing that at IMAX films. And then, of course, there's the crazies. I'm kidding. Or the ones that are late. The ones that walk in on a Star Wars movie, the crawl's been over for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? They like or are forced to sit up front. There's actually people that like to sit up front. If you like looking at the screen where you have to do a tennis match with your head for the entire movie, good for you, I guess. But like I said, good seats mean something different to everybody. Okay. So just as a hypothetical here, my guess is that premium seats will be the ones in the middle and the prices are going to go up. That's if this is going to happen. Like I said, I never saw a survey. I believe it exists. It's AMC. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, knowing AMC, the other seats would still just cost what they do now or a little more for what they consider, undesirable seats. And I would guess that'd be ones from on the side or near the front, So where does MoviePass come into this, you ask? Because this is Get on the Mic, and you love AMC versus MoviePass, right, Gino? Yes, I do, because I love seeing MoviePass stick it to AMC. You want to hear those talks? Go check out some of the earlier episodes of Get on the Mic. But here's the thing: when it comes to MoviePass doesn't pay for any premium type seats, whether it be 3D, IMAX, Big D, whatever. Any deluxe seats, they don't pay for. Now, granted, if the whole movie is like couch seating or whatever, I think that's different. I'm talking about theaters that have different options, like bigger screens, 3D, whatever. You get the idea. So it wasn't always the case. When I first got MoviePass and they were still expensive, like $30, $40 a month, whenever you put on, turn on MoviePass, because you go to Fandango or whatever to find your times, and you'd say, okay, I need to go to this movie. And I'll give you an example. I went to, their AMC now, it was Carmike Theater in Champaign, Illinois. And I had to go see, I believe it was American Sniper early. It was like 10 in the morning. It's the only time I could go. And the Decatur, Illinois theaters where I live, they didn't have that early at times, and I had to go early. So when you go to Fandango, you find your time, 10 a.m. show. Okay. So I go to MoviePass, I'd hit the time. Well, I wouldn't know that this was in like the Big D theater, right? Their big screen, loud, quote unquote, it's IMAX but not theater is the Big D screen. So you do in your MoviePass, none of them be blanked out, and you do your MoviePass, you go in there and they'd be like, oh, well, you still owe us, $3 or whatever. And then I just, oh, okay, that's fine. Why? Well, it's on the Big D screen. Oh, okay. And you pay it and you go in. Because if those of you that don't know how MoviePass works, it's a debit card with no money on it. You do the app, they put the money on the card, and then they swipe it and it pays for the ticket. Right? So, if all the money wasn't there, say the ticket was higher than they thought it was, the difference, which I had no problem with. But now the ticket, they black out like 3D screenings and things like that, which really is the better way to go. It's less confusing, so that way you kind of know what you can and can't do. But here's the thing, though. If that's the case, it's going to get more confusing, because if AMC is charging in the same theater this price for this price for this seat, this price for that seat, that's going to get confusing for MoviePass. So, is that going to stop people from wanting to get MoviePass because it's confusing, or is it going to stop people from wanting to go to AMC because they're jerks and trying to look? Is this an unintentional thing? Probably not. This whole thing that, well, if we offer quote unquote premium seats, or MoviePass won't pay for it. No, I would say it's intentional to hurt the subscription service, which I'm not going to get into why. I still think it's dumb that they are doing this, but like I said, they're just sour grapes, man, and I hate seeing it. But for us people that use MoviePass, it may get a little more confusing if this whole premium seats things go through. It could be unintentional. I doubt it, because it's AMC, but I'm not surprised by this. Here's hoping that all these stupid things that AMC does makes people realize that, there are better theaters out there. And like I said, AMC theaters, they're nice theaters, especially the ones that got the nice seats and everything. You get more food options. I mean, they've got the money. You know what I mean? The workers are cool. Again, this is nothing against the workers. But, man, the corporate side of AMC theaters is just ridiculous. And I would rather go to a hometown theater. I'd rather go to an off-brand theater before AMC buys them up than I would go to an AMC. But granted, I don't have a choice a lot of times. That's why I like when I travel to go see advanced screenings. Sometimes they're at AMC theaters, but not always. I'm not sure if they're still Warenberg, but there's Warenberg theaters and stuff in there in St. Louis when I go travel and stuff like that. And I like going to stuff like that too, or I like going to art theaters and things like that. I'd much rather do that. And I would love to see AMC suffer a little bit for all these dumb little decisions that they're making to, just to try to squeeze out that extra buck. I mean, it's like, come on, don't you guys own enough theaters? It's just sad, man, because, it'll be sad if they become the only one. All right, let's talk about a happier story now. Okay, something that's near and dear and true to my heart. Okay, let me ask you guys this, and please comment in the section below. I really want to know, even though I'm going to say this, the debate is over, but I still want to hear your side. I love this argument. We argue about this at work, and when this article came out about this, I was so excited because, my side won. Let me ask you this. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? You can make your arguments of, well, it came out and it was like June or July. You can make your arguments, well, it's not like a typical Christmas movie, all that, right? There's so many little arguments people make. Well, it's just not. That was my favorite. Someone said to me, well, it's just not. Okay. I guess that's your argument. Look, is it a Christmas movie? I have always thought so. I have never not thought that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I have to mention this. There's a buddy where I can't take credit for this, unfortunately. I would love to take credit for this phrase that was said. But a buddy at work, we were talking about this debate, and it's when this story came out, and I told him about it. And he goes, well, yeah, the argument's there. He goes, going to see family on Christmas is like walking on broken glass barefoot for me too, And I like that. I thought that was hilarious. But look, think about it. I've always thought that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. The soundtrack screams Christmas, okay? It's set during an office Christmas party. A guy is trying to get back to his family for Christmas. It's Christmas time, Theo. It's the time for miracles. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. To me, there was no doubt, but the argument has raged on for years. Yet, 2017, the year that's about to go away, we've had a Christmas miracle. We now have the official answer of, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Die Hard screenwriter Stephen E. D'Souza replied to people over Twitter over the holidays. When someone mentioned that Die Hard is about love, devotion, sacrifice, generosity, and resisting evil, how could it not be a Christmas movie? D'Souza replied over Twitter, plus a woman about to give birth features prominently. Okay, I know he was kidding there. It was a bit of a joke. But then, this came. He was asked by CNN's Jake Tapper over Twitter. Jake Tapper said this. He goes, I'm sure you weighed in on it before, but I've never heard you or Jeb Stewart offer your take on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In which D'Souza replied, yes, because the studios rejected the Purim draft. Now, I don't know much about Judaism, about the Jewish faith. Purim is a Jewish faith thing. If you know what it is, you can explain it to me in the description. If you're, if you know what it is. So he was joking there, but then he had this in his tweet. He hashtagged Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So there you have it. The hashtag that put all the Die Hard Christmas doubters and non-believers on the naughty list. Hashtag Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Ho, ho, ho. Look, I know people are still going to argue about it. That's fine. People are going to still try to say it just isn't. That's fine. My real concern is this. Now that this debate is solved, I think the debate on whether or not A Nightmare Before Christmas, is it a Halloween movie? Is it a Christmas movie? I always like to joke and say it's a Thanksgiving movie, because it kind of just falls in between, meet in the middle kind of thing. But that debate's going to ramp up. Lord help us all. So yeah, I was happy to hear that. It made my Christmas. We had a good time with that at work talking about that this debate has been raging on for years, and now it's official. It may be an unconventional Christmas movie, but John McClane is a Christmas hero fighting against Christmas terrorists at a Christmas party with his Christmas broken feet, walking on Christmas broken glass, blowing up the Christmas detonators with his Christmas machine gun, saving his wife from getting dropped off the Christmas building to fall to his Christmas death. So I had a good time with that. I was happy to hear that. Lastly on the show here, I got a few quick notes. Congratulations to Game of Thrones Season 7. Game of Thrones is once again the most pirated show on television this year. Congratulations to you. It was pirated over 1.03 billion times. So, good for them. What's crazy is they said they had something like, I can't remember how many millions of subscribers. It's like 16 million HBO Go subscribers watched it. But then it was pirated over 1.03 billion times. Wow. Okay. Next, Daniel Day-Lewis is officially retired after doing The Phantom Thread, and it's supposed to be his last movie. I haven't seen it. it'll probably go wide in the new year because I'm sure he'll probably be up for an Oscar for it if it's even eligible. I don't know how it all works. I don't follow the Oscars. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. So he's officially retired after The Phantom Thread. I think he's just researching a role of a retired person. I don't think he's done. I really don't. He might be done. I mean, he's a weird cat, you know. I don't think he's going to be done, but you never know. He may just be like, look, I did this movie. It was my passion project. I did it. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm going to go do whatever it is I do to have fun for the rest of my life. Dude's a great actor and do whatever he wants. Oscar time. Want to lose faith in the Oscars? Just think about this. The first movie on the list of the 341 eligible movies up for Best Picture is Alien Covenant. And lastly, the first picture from Transformers Bumblebee movie came out. And before you say anything, just hear me out. It is Haley Steinfeld standing behind the door of a yellow VW Bug. See? You take Michael Bay away from my childhood and things may actually be okay. You've got an actress that's both beautiful and can act. I love Haley Steinfeld. She's amazing. She's going to be one of the greats. She's already really good, and she's really cute, so I have no problem with that. And they're not over-sexualizing a minor. Michael Bay, you pig. You know, if you haven't seen the last Transformers movie, you know what I mean. She was like 14 when they filmed that. And he made sure he got the slow motion running, you know, that shot. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to talk about an underage girl like that. But Michael Bay loves to shoot it. And I can't stand him for it. So yeah, no over-sexualized minor. And Bumblebee's the right kind of car. I think the movie is supposed to be set in the 80s. And I understand why they had to, you know, put him in a newer car. And they made a joke in the first Transformers movie about the VW Bug or whatever. I understand that, but, you know, I'm just happy that, I mean, he still may be producing. I'm sure he probably is because Michael Bay, I can't believe I'm using this phrase, likes to have his fingers in everything. But at least he's not directing. He's not writing it, as far as I know. So at least we might have a chance to have a good Transformers movie. Granted, they showed that thing in the last night where we're showing Bumblebee in the past. Excuse me, and I hope that was what the movie they were going to show. The movie we were going to have was, you know, past awesome Bumblebee fighting against Nazis. No, but we're getting an 80s Transformers movie with just Bumblebee, so I'm curious about it. And the fact that Michael Bay isn't involved makes me not hate my childhood like I do when I watch a Transformers live action movie. So yeah, I was happy to see what I saw. That's going to do it this week for Get on the Mic. As always, you know, I enjoy doing this program, and I'm working on some other things in the quote-unquote podcasting realm. Me and a buddy of mine are working on some stuff. We might be doing a new YouTube podcast show, and it'll probably end up being in podcast form as well. We're still working on all the details. Plus, I'm talking with a guy about some other podcasting possibilities. So I'm going to be thinking about it, but there's a chance you might be hearing Get on the Mic in podcast form soon. Like I said, I'm still thinking about it. I got some things I need to think about. But I like the idea of working with other people. I've been doing this a long time, not the podcast thing, but I've been a critic since the first Captain America movie came out. That was technically the first review I ever wrote was for Green Lantern, but that was just a test review to give to the news station that I work for to write a blog about movies. But the first official movie I did was Captain America, the First Avenger. So, you know, And of course, the reason I did that is because the week or so before the last Harry Potter movie come out, and I hadn't watched any of them, so I didn't want to have to catch up on that many movies for the first project, you know. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've been doing it by myself a long time, and I've worked with people before. I've worked with Sean Chandler before, which, you know, if you check out his channel, he's blowing up. It amazes me how quick he is just been gaining subscribers. It's crazy. Of course, worked with Brad Jones, who I consider a friend. I love working with him. But most of the time I'm doing this stuff on my own, and it's getting to a point where, you know, I've always said this channel is about, not just about me. I've always said this channel, it's about everybody. It's whoever wants to be involved in it. I want this to be kind of a family type channel where we just have fun talking about movies and stuff, you know, keep it cool and have fun talking about stuff. But still, a lot of the stuff I do is on my own, and where I'm going to continue to do that stuff, because I do have obligations, especially when I see advanced screenings and stuff. I have to do critic reviews and stuff, and I still plan on doing that stuff, and I still plan on doing all the stuff I'm doing, but I really want to work with other people. The times I've worked with other people, like I said, when I worked with Brad, I did one thing with Sean Chandler. I would like to do some more. There's other people I'd like to work with, and I just want to get to a point where, see, this isn't a competition for me. I don't ever see someone as competition. I always just see, hey, it might be cool to work with that person. Let's just have fun. You know, it's all about fun for me. And I'm hoping to do more of that. I want to talk to more people. I want, you know, I mean, and I talk to people in the chat or in the description or whatever, the chat down below on YouTube and stuff. I do that, and that's fine. I like that. Don't get me wrong. I try to, you know, respond to everything that people put down there. I try to respond to all of it. Sometimes, occasionally, you have to deal with a troll. Thankfully, on my channel, I don't have to deal with that too much, because the people that comment down there are usually pretty cool. But I want to work with more people, and so I'm really having to think about all that stuff. Even though I like doing what I do, I want to spread it out. I want to, you know, work with other people, reach more people. I mean, while the size of my subscriptions, the number size of my subscriptions doesn't bother me, I'd still like it to grow. You know what I mean? It's not a money thing. It's just I want to get my voice out there, and you know, I see it get stuck here and there, and though it doesn't bother me that much, I want to see it grow, and you know, just a natural progression type growth thing. And I think the way to do that is to work with other people, because people like that. They like to see people collaborate on things where it's just not one person blabbing into the camera the whole time, like you have to see me do every week. But so yeah, I'm looking at all that stuff. But look, I enjoy doing this. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been so stressed out the last few weeks. I mean, those of you that have seen that saw my Pitch Perfect 3 review, you know what I'm talking about. So I had to have a little fun with it, because it's like, man, I'm either gonna rant about this movie for 2 hours, or I can just have some fun with it. And I decided, well, I don't have the time to rant about it for 2 hours, so I'm gonna have fun with it. And I just want all this to keep being fun, man. And I think the natural progression is going to be to work with other people. And that's really, honestly, that's going to be taking me out of my comfort zone. But you know what? That's good. I need to be taken out of my comfort zone, because the more you get taken out of your comfort zone, the better you get. And man, it's crazy. I watched one of my old reviews the other day, because I was looking for a link to, when I do my links at the end of my videos, I try to find a movie that has the same actor or something in it from an older review. And I watched one of my older reviews. I'm like, wow, I don't think I'm great now, but man, it was bad. You know? So, you know, I need to be taken out of my comfort zone. When I started writing a blog, that took me out of my comfort zone. Then they're like, well, we want you to do some TV. That definitely took me out of my comfort zone. Still does, doing video. You know, well, now we want you to do this. Now we want you to try that. it's how we get better. It's getting taken out of our comfort zone, because we stay in our comfort zone, we get stale. So, though I've got a lot of thinking to do, me getting better is going to require me to do more, to do different things. And you know what? I'm really looking forward to it, because I need to do it to keep this fun. It's always going to be fun, but I want it to be really fun. I want to have a good time, doing what I do. I don't want it to become stale. I don't want it to become a quote unquote job. You know what I mean? I want it to be a job, but not a job. So anyway, there's lots of stuff we're thinking over. There's lots of stuff that I'm having to think about. And of course, when I know some new things and know some more stuff, I'll tell you guys about it. Anyway, that's going to do it all for Get on the Mic this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the program. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I have a great time doing this. I want to keep doing it, and thank you to those that do watch it. I know not a lot of people are watching it right now. I know it's just a still picture on YouTube. I mean, this is meant to be a podcast type form. It's one of those you turn on in the background while you're cleaning the house or something. You know what I mean? I have a lot of fun doing it. I hope those that do listen to it enjoy it. I have a great time doing it, and I hope you guys continue to support me in it. And I thank you all for the support that you've given me. Those of you that do like it have let me know what you thought, and you seem to be positive about it. So I want to keep doing it, and I really enjoy doing it. So anyway, that's going to be all for Get on the Mic this week. Until next time, I'm Gino Reynolds, the real Gino. Peace.